In 2014, a company nobody had heard of walked up to Samsung and Apple and said, "Pay half the price and get the same phone." Their tagline was, "Never settle." 12 years later, in July 2026, that same company sent out a note telling to its own community it was shutting down. Not the company, not yet, but the version of OnePlus that made you fall in love with it. That one's already gone. This isn't a story about a company that's running out of money. OnePlus's parent is one of the biggest smartphone makers on the earth. This is a story about a company that had everything: a cult following, a working formula, a founder who understood exactly what made it work, and slowly, deliberately gave all of it away, one efficiency decision at a time. December 16, 2013, Shenzhen, China. A former Oppo vice president named Pete Lau, alongside a young marketer named Carl Pei, registers a new company. Their pitch is almost insultingly simple. Samsung and Apple charge $600, $700 for a flagship phone. What if you build the same price, same spec sheet and charge it $299 only? In April 2014, the OnePlus One arrives. Snapdragon 801 chip, 3GB of RAM, a clean, bloat-free version of Android at less than half the price of the phones it was benchmarked against. And they don't sell it in stores. They don't run TV ads. You need an invite just to buy one. It shouldn't have worked, right? A no-name startup gatekeeping its own product with almost zero marketing budget. But the scarcity became the marketing. Tech reviewers couldn't stop talking about it. By the end of 2014, OnePlus had sold over 1 million of units. Can you believe? 20 times their original target. Their label stuck immediately, the flagship killer for the next 6 years. OnePlus defended that title like a religion. The OnePlus 3, the 5T, the legendary 7 Pro with pop-up camera and batteries per 90Hz screen, still remembered today as one of the best Android phones ever made. This is the OnePlus everyone in your comment section is nostalgic for. Here's the part most people forget. OnePlus was never fully an independent company. From day one, corporate filings showed Oppo as its only institutional shareholder. Both companies spent years denying that relationship publicly, insisting they were separate even while sharing Oppo's factories and supply chain the whole time. For years, that didn't matter. OnePlus operated with enough independence to feel like its own thing. Then on October 7, 2020, co-founder Carl Pei announced he was leaving. Pei never publicly trashed the company on his way out. What he said afterward was simpler and more damning. OnePlus had become a mainstream, mature company and he wanted to build something scrappy again. Within months, he founded Nothing, a new phone brand built on the exact identity. OnePlus was starting to lose bold design, risk a direct line to community, a refusal to just be another safe flagship. Pei building a flagship killer 2.0 from the scratch months after leaving, that's not a coincidence. That's a review of his old company delivered through actions instead of words. 3 months after Pei's exit in January 2021, OnePlus formally merged its R&D division with Oppo's. By September that year, the company announced something that felt to long-time fans like a sacrilege. Oxygen OS, the clean, near-stock Android software that was half the reason people bought OnePlus phones, would share a single codebase with Oppo's ColorOS. Can you believe it? A skin most enthusiasts considered bloated and over-designed roughly. Oxygen OS 12 shipped buggy and barely recognizable to long-time users. OnePlus had to pause the update entirely. The backlash was loud enough that in February 2022, at Mobile World Congress, OnePlus publicly reversed course, promising Oxygen OS and ColorOS would stay separate brands even while quietly running on the same underlying code. It was a rare win for the fanbase. Surely, it was also a preview of exactly how this story ends. Because a company doesn't reverse a decision like that out of conviction. It reverses it because the backlash was inconvenient. The direction of travel never actually changed actually. At the same time, something quieter was happening to the price tag. The OnePlus One, which launched at only $299, by 2022, the flagship OnePlus phones were crossing $700. By 2025, the OnePlus 13 launched at $899. Still cheaper than a Samsung Ultra or iPhone Pro Max, yeah, but nowhere near half the price anymore. To offset that and battle that, OnePlus launched the Nord series in 2020, a genuinely good mid-range light, but it came with a side effect. Nord pulled the brand's identity into two directions at once. Was OnePlus the affordable flagship killer, or a full catalog phone company with a premium tier and budget tier just like everyone else? Trying to be both made it start to look like neither. And by 2024, the cracks reached the ground floor. Literally in India, one of OnePlus's two biggest markets, roughly 4,500 retailers across 6 stages, staged a boycott. Their complaints, warranty delays, razor-thin margins, and a grey market flooding with country with unauthorized stock that undercut official retailers entirely. For a moment, OnePlus was genuinely close to being pushed out for India and other regions also. The executive who walked into the fire was Robin Liu, stepped into the Indian CEO role for 2024. He negotiated OnePlus back from the brink and got credited fairly, with a real turnaround. But the underlying numbers kept sliding. Industry data from Omdia shows OnePlus sales dropping more than 20% between 2023 and 2024. And here's the stat should never stop you. OnePlus generates roughly 74% of its global sales from just two countries, China and India. In those same two countries, the ones it depends the most is market share, and it sits just around 1.6% in China and 3.9% in India. Read that again. Yes, a phone company surviving almost entirely on two markets where it's a rounding error in both. On January 21, 2026, rumors that OnePlus was being quietly dismantled went rival, backed by reporting there cited multiple analyst firms. Robin Liu, the same executive who just saved the Indian business, went on social media to shut it down personally, saying operations were normal and would continue as usual. 62 days later, on March 24, 2026, Robin Liu resigned. Officially, it was called a part of a global restructuring reports. At the same time, noted OnePlus had begun reporting up through Realme's leadership inside Oppo's empire, meaning the brand that once outmarketed Samsung now organizationally subordinate to its own budget-tier sister brand. Shipment data confirmed the research freefall. Cybermedia research clocked a 32% year-on-year decline on 2025. IDC put the number even higher at 38.8%. By July 2026, the denial stopped. On July 15, Bloomberg confirmed that insiders had been hinting for months OnePlus would cease new product launches in the US and Europe entirely. As part of a larger restructuring inside Oppo, a day later, OnePlus made it official on its own forums, saying it would conclude new product rollouts across both regions. Existing phones like the OnePlus 15 would keep selling until the stock ran out, no restocking after that, and August 16, 2026, community forum permanently got closed. Then came the details stung the community hardest. OnePlus confirmed its North American community forum. Years of guides, discussions, and users' history would permanently shut down on August 16, 2026. No migration of the content, just gone, replaced by an invite to be a new global Discord server just. And the software identity fans fought to protect back in 2022. By mid-2026, OnePlus confirmed what the MWC promise was actually worth, or Oxygen OS would be fully replaced by Oppo's ColorOS 17 everywhere, not sharing a code base, not staying as separate brands, just get replaced. Even the Hasselblad camera that was so much in hype, the partnership, OnePlus's attempt to build a new premium identity after losing its price advantage, quietly got ended. The Hasselblad branding didn't disappear, it just moved to Oppo's own Find X series instead. What's left of OnePlus today isn't a company that collapsed. It's a company still technically alive, still selling phones in China and India, just no longer the company that earned the loyalty in the first place. A budget line running someone else's software, sitting under someone else's organizational chart. So here's the pattern and the lesson for us. It's worth remembering next time you see a scrappy brand get closer to a bigger parent company, OnePlus didn't die from a bad product. Every phone it shipped in the last 5 years was on paper competent hardware. It died from 1,000 small trades, each one individually defensible, each one framed as efficiency, shared resources, streamlining, shared R&D, and etc. Shared software, shared pricing logic. Each trade made the balance sheet look better for exactly one quarter, and each one quietly deleted a reason customers had chosen OnePlus over literally any other Android phones on the market. This isn't unique to OnePlus. It's the same arc that hollowed out Nokia after Microsoft absorbed it, the same arc Motorola went through under Lenovo, resurfacing after years as a shell of its old self. When an accuracy instinct is to fold a challenger brand into its own machinery, instead of protecting the very weirdness that made you a threat in the first place, you don't get a stronger combined company. You get a slower, quieter version of the same outcome. The thing that made people care disappears first. The name sometimes survives years longer than the reason it mattered. If you are building something right now, a brand, a channel, a product, the OnePlus story is a warning about growth itself. Growth that erases your differentiation isn't really growth. It's just decline that takes longer to notice. OnePlus proved in 2014 that you could build a cult following without a marketing budget, just by actually standing for something. In 2026, it proved the opposite, that you can have every resource in the world and still lose it all one reasonable compromise at a time. So the real question isn't what happened to OnePlus, it's what's the one thing your brand or you can never afford to trade away. No matter how good the efficiency argument sounds, drop your take in the comments, and if you want the next tear down, subscribe definitely, and we Techolic will bring this sort of case study often more. So this is it. This is our Techolic Bangladesh, and we have a group. The link of the group will be provided below in the description box. So that's it. Definitely I'll catch you on the next one.